The one
interested.
next to Hills? Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, not Hills. Right out 300.
Yeah, the parking lot.
Yeah, the
Yep.
parking lot. I find it funny that those people, like, they appreciate that view, but depending on how it is, they might lose some of their view.
They might. That's part of the gig, though. And they will have, there is an, they're not taking that the lot, and then there's a break. There will be a break.
Right.
So they won't be like New York, like this.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, there's a break. And in the design phase, you know, typically like in New York, what they do is they make, if I'm the second design, they make me step back on the higher floors. So it isn't a straight up wall.
Right.
The lower floors, but that's because most of the lower floors are usually commercial.
Correct.
Right? So it's not quite the same as sleeping.
Right. No, 100%. Big difference. You're not infringing.
Yeah. So. And also to put some light to get some, daylight on the uppers. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think they're a long way from it. All right.
Nowadays, like, you'd be surprised people figure things out.
I know, it's true.
All right, Steve, it's 6 o'clock.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Syracuse Planning Commission. We will begin our public hearings in just a moment. First, however, we will take action on the minutes of our previous meeting from the 25th of March. Those minutes have been distributed to the commission members in advance. Is there a motion for action on the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2024.
Second?
Discussion on the motion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And one abstention. Thank you. We now move into the public hearings for this evening, following the agenda it's also available. And for those who are unfamiliar with our public hearing process, as each application is announced by a member of the staff, we ask that the applicant or the representative come to the podium in the center of the room, provide your name and address for the record, and then a brief summary of your project. Following any questions from the commission members, we will invite members of the public who wish to speak in favor of the application to come forward to do that. Similarly, we will invite members of the public who wish to speak against an application to come forward to do that. We ask that speakers contain their comments either for or against to 3 minutes in length. And where comments are offered in opposition to a project, we will encourage the applicant to return to the podium and address the comments made in opposition. With that, I think we're ready to begin with our first public hearing.
All right, first item on the agenda is R-24-11, a re-subdivision to combine 424 and 428 Hillsdale Avenue. Applicant is Richard J. Giangiobi Jr. I hope I said that right. And this is in the R1 zone district.
Good evening. Michael Root, 215 East Jefferson Street, on behalf of the applicant, Richard Giangiobi. Here seeking a re-subdivision. It's two residential lots. One is a vacant, basically a yard, and the second lot is Richard's residence. It's a single-family dwelling. Just looking to combine them so he could use it as a side yard or backyard, have more ability to do things with it other than just being a vacant yard.
Pretty simple.
Any questions that you might have? Yeah, it's very simple, just combining two lots.
Questions from the commission
Two
members?
questions, either for staff or for the applicant. So there's reference to a shed on the property that was built without a permit. Just curious if anything needs to be done to resolve that issue. And there seems to be like kind of an odd curb cut on this for a previous driveway that appears to be over the property line, and I'm not sure So I'm just wondering what, if anything, will happen with that curb cut, if anything needs to be adjusted relative to
I'm not sure about the curb cut, but if there's something that needs to be adjusted on it, I mean, he'd be more than willing to do that. I know
I
it's an
can't really-
odd thing with it's almost like a garden in the front.
that. Right.
Plantings in the ROW.
I don't believe that's in violation of anything, but if it is, we'll certainly,
The DPW has jurisdiction of that. It's not really a zoning issue, the curb cut, so we can't really speak to it.
Sure, okay, I was just curious, because I can't tell from any of the images I have what exactly. Okay, thank you.
sure. In this image here, currently the fence is down and the tree that's in the center of the vacant lot has been removed and replaced with a new planted tree. These photos, I believe, from 2019.
Other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there individuals who wish to speak in favor of this application? If so, please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application, please come to the podium. So we have no additional speakers on this. We'll close public comment. I turn to legal counsel and staff to ask if there is any additional relevant information that the commission would need in considering this application.
None here?
Okay, thank you. In that case, it would be appropriate for the commission to conduct its environmental review. And I ask our legal counsel if you would help us with that as you typically do.
Sure. I did learn something today as an aside for commission members. I was listening to a meeting, and if you don't speak directly into the mic, if you turn your head, it doesn't pick up. So just thought I'd point that out. Has everybody had a chance to review the short EAF Part 1 that was included in your packet?
Yes.
And this is an unlisted action. Are you familiar with the questions of the short EAF Part 2, also included in your packet?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone believe this project will have any moderate to large impacts?
No.
All right. Because you do not believe there will be any moderate to large impacts, I recommend you vote to issue a negative declaration under seeker and complete the EAF Part 3 accordingly.
Thank you. Is there such a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Discussion on the seeker motion? There's no discussion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Seeker motion is approved, and we may proceed to action on the re-subdivision itself, R24-11. Is there a motion for action on the Hillsdale Ave re-subdivision?
Move to approve the subdivision?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That re-subdivision is approved. Thank you. We move to our next application.
Next agenda item is R-24-14. It's going to be a re-subdivision to combine two lots at 217 to 19 and 221 Gertrude Street. Owner is Coral Real Estate LLC. Applicant is Peter DeMarco of DeMarco Engineering, and this is in the R4 zone district.
Yeah, so my name's Peter.
Calling you.
Peter DeMarco. My address is 18 Clinton Street in Homer, New York, 13077. So this project, there's two projects that are fairly similar that are merging two residential lots. This one in particular, currently there's a wood frame house that's 2 units on one lot, and the lot adjacent to it is vacant. And so what the owner would like to do is merge the 2 lots so he could put a parking area in for tenants to use. So that would have 2 parking spots, 1 for each unit. On Gertrude Street, it's one of those streets where it's alternate side parking, so it would help alleviate congestion. That's kind of the gist of it there. Just a parking spot. He put in a lighting there, so it's well lit. 2 spots for the 2 units. Currently, the curb cut. There is currently a curb cut, and then the area that would be paved is this kind of messy gravel area. And so by merging the lots, he'd be able to make it a nice paved lot, is the idea.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the commission members for the applicant?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Are there individuals who would like to speak in favor of this application? If so, please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application, please come to the podium. No additional speakers here either, so we'll close public comment. Again, I turn to legal counsel and staff to ask if there's any additional relevant information for the commission to consider for the application.
None from me.
Okay, thank you both. In that case, I would ask legal counsel to help us with our environmental review.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to review the short EAF Part 1 that's included in your packet?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the questions in the short EAF Part 2 also included in your packet?
Yes.
Did anybody believe this project will have any moderate to large impacts?
No.
All right. Because you do not believe there will be any moderate to large impacts, I recommend you vote to issue a negative declaration under seeker and complete the EAF Part 3 accordingly.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the seeker action on this re-subdivision?
I move finding a negative seeker declaration.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the seeker motion? And all in favor of the seeker motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Seeker motion is approved, and we may now proceed to the re-subdivision itself, R-24-14 on Gertrude Street. Is there a motion for action?
Move to approve the re-subdivision.
Second?
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? R-2414 is approved. We move to another re-subdivision.
Next agenda item is R-24-19, a re-subdivision at 1421 to 23 and 1427 to 31 South Avenue. Owner and applicant is Alan and Arlene Lywellen, and it's in the MX2 zone district.
The applicant is here. Please come to the podium. And just provide your name and address, then a summary of your project.
Okay, Lance Llewellyn. Pretty much not a project, it's just more of, like I said, just trying to bring everything together. This is 1427 South Ave, dash 31 on Colvin. Pretty much trying to get some parking. There's no parking. You can see the line going through down the center there. So just pretty much just trying to join the properties together, it's re-subdivision. It was together at one point, and I'm just trying to have it done again.
Okay, thank you. Questions for the applicant from the commission?
I mean, am I correct in understanding that all of the rental units are going to be 3-bedroom? Okay, just wanted to check that to make sure. Yeah.
I just want to clarify, the application, I think, speaks to 3 and 4 bedroom units, which is just for clarification on the record. Are we talking 4 bedroom units as well?
There just should be, there's 2 The top floor has 4,
Okay.
Oh, it does.
and then the next ones have 3.
Are
Yeah,
3?
yes.
Okay, second floor.
And it's on there as well.
Right. And the,
I see.
I just have one quick question. The parking and dumpster area will be fenced?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I do, yeah, and we'll be trying to fence all that off. There's a lot of people who are walking straight through the property. That's
Right.
one of the main reasons why I want to combine them, then put a fence around them. People are walking right through there. Don't feel safe doing any work on the property. Yeah, so I definitely need these joints so I can fence it off.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Any further questions from the commission members at this point? And is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? If so, please come to the podium, provide your name, address, and comments. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application, please come forward. Quiet group this evening, no additional speakers. And we'll pause on public comment. I turn to my colleagues in law and the staff to ask if there's any additional information relevant to this application that the commission should be aware of.
Nothing for zoning.
Okay, thank you both. In that case, we are at a point where we can consider seeker action for this re-subdivision. Would you kindly help
Has
us?
everybody had a chance to review the short EAF, that part 1 that's in your packet? And
Yes,
you're familiar with the EAF part 2 also in your packet?
yes,
Does anyone believe this project will have any moderate to large impacts?
no.
Because you do not believe there will be any moderate to large impacts, I recommend you vote to issue a negative declaration under seeker and complete the EAF part 3 accordingly.
Thank you. Is there such a motion for our seeker review?
So moved.
A second?
With a negative deck. Yeah.
Second.
Sorry.
Thank to you, to both of you. Discussion on the motion? If not, then all in favor of the seeker motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Are there any abstentions? Seeker review is approved, and we may now proceed to action on the re-subdivision for R2419 on South Avenue. Is there a motion for action?
I move approval of the application as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion? And all those in favor of the motion as proposed and seconded, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? So the re-subdivision R2419 is approved. We move to our next public hearing.
Next item on the agenda is SP-24-06. This is a special use permit at 1133 to 37 South Salina Street. Owner, Mark E. Mondo, and the applicant is James Owen. This is in the MX3 zone district.
Thank you.
My name is James Owen. Address is 207 Maple Drive, Fayetteville, New York. The project is an existing gas station slash service station, and the objective is to convert the repair bays into convenience store retail space, and then take the spaces along the north. I should say the space along the north, and create some additional parking spaces for this retail use. And then currently there's 2 parking spaces on the south side there where you just pointed, but we're going to rotate those and put in the new parking spaces with the handicap accessible.
Thank you. Questions for the applicant?
Might have missed it in the packet, but what will be you guys' hours of operation?
Hours of operation are, I think they were from the 5 in the morning till 10 at night. And we do those 7 days a week.
We didn't really have a design for the parking plan in the packet, at least as I could find it. And there was some concern raised about ensuring separation between parking and sidewalk so that customers could not park on a sidewalk, appropriate marking, et cetera. Where are we with that particular process?
On the site plan there, I don't know if you're able to zoom in on that. There's the 3 diagonal parking spaces along the left side there that'll be striped on the existing asphalt. Yep,
That's on the north side.
yeah, correct. And then 3 on the south side. And
So
those
I
will
guess
be
it's the one on the south side that the big concern would be in terms of encroachment on the sidewalk. So are there any plans for any kind of a buffer there, foliage, curb, some kind of?
It's a
curb
pretty
itself?
tight site.
I understand. I looked at it.
So
It's very tight. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why the concern
Yeah.
was expressed, because I know cars now are actually parking on the
Yeah.
sidewalk down there.
Well, that was, I mean, the goal of putting the stripes on the, on the asphalt was to actually, allocate the parking, and show people where they need to park as opposed to kind of parking where they can, because there aren't really any spaces striped yet. But there's no plan to put in some barriers, between the sidewalks just because it is a fairly tight site.
So the application, no, sorry.
Sorry, thank you.
Go ahead, Bear.
No, that's okay. I accidentally hit.
All right. The application says the hours could be between 5 a.m. and midnight.
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah, I just found that one.
Okay, so we're staying with 5 to 12.
Yeah.
Okay. And who is going to operate the convenience store?
And as far as, how do you mean, employees?
Well, are you going to own it?
I'm sorry?
Will you own the,
Oh, no, I'm the
Convenience
applicant.
store?
So Mark Mondo is the owner, and he'll remain the owner. And then he'll have employees that will work there, for shifts during the day.
and it's the same, it'll be the same owner and operator for the gas station? Okay. Thank you.
Other questions from the commission? Okay,
I have
thank you.
one more question, sorry. Has Mr. Mondo operated a convenience store previously?
Currently, it's a kind of a quasi-convenience store now. It's just kind of expanding the offerings, with the added floor space. So they have the, the sodas and the snacks and coffee and things like that now.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they're just expanding what they're offering.
Are you guys adding anything within the expansion? Are you adding anything to what you currently have?
There'll be beer sales, which he currently doesn't have. Right now it's just sodas, and waters and things like that. So that'll be added, and then there'll be dry goods, breads, boxed, cereals or chips, that kind of thing. Your typical convenience store kind of stuff.
Further questions for the applicant?
I don't know if there is a church.
So, I have another question, but I would ask staff first. Someone who was not able to be here sent in this letter, and their concern is around there being a church within close proximity, which, to their knowing, technically they can't sell alcohol that close. So I wanted to clarify that.
Right, so what George is referring to, we got a letter of opposition submitted today at 4:56. And you are correct, the applicant or the tenant will have to submit for, if they haven't already, get a liquor license from the state, and that would consider the 300-foot rule, so.
Are you guys aware of that? Okay.
Required, the license being required to sell.
To sell beer?
Yes, but then there's a requirement with it, a 300 what is it, 300?
That's the 300-foot rule, I
Yeah,
believe?
300-foot rule. Because this, that's why I asked about the expansion. Would you be adding anything to what you currently have? And you mentioned alcohol, so that's why I asked that question, just so you're fully aware.
Yeah.
I have no other questions.
Additional questions for the applicant?
Since we're bringing up what the store will do, so if you're adding beer sales, you also thinking lottery tickets and cooking food?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, kind of your typical convenience store. Yeah.
You got it. You got it. I have no other questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there individuals who would like to speak
They'll
in
deny
favor of this application?
the license, you know.
If so, please come to the podium, provide your name, address, and comments. Oh, I thought you were coming forward to speak. You're just getting a better seat. Okay.
Getting ready.
Next, are there individuals who would like to speak in opposition to the application? If so, please come forward. Provide your name, address, and your comments.
In a Dixie Holland. I live at 106 East Ken Street. It's 2 churches by the gas station. 3? So 3 churches. So we don't need another corner store in our neighborhood. We already got 8.
How many? How many?
8 in a 1-mile radius. And then also the congregation, the hanging out part. We don't need that in our area. I don't want that by my house. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Are there other individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the application? Please come forward, provide your name, address, and then your comments, please.
My name is Jimmy Muir. I used to own the store at 1300 South State Street, which used to be Jimmy's Super Saver, which maybe half a block away from that gas station.
Excuse me to interject. Could you state your address for the record, please?
Yeah, my address is 3960 Rodeo Circle, Camillus, New York, 13031. The gas station also got a car wash next to it. It's nothing but hangout, shooting, drug sales all the time, 24 hours open. People homeless sleep in there, always fight next door to the gas station. All the time. Check the police report on that. The police is 24/9 in that gas station all the time, in the car wash. Also, there is a church, they just fix it. They got youth programs and everything. I'm very sure, beautiful building. And it's they don't want no hangout. Anytime there is a corner store start, they're gonna start hanging over there, smoking and drinking, which I don't think they're gonna have a liquor license because the church is next door. So it's gonna be more murders in that corner. And our stores is only half a block away, and we carry all that full line of grocery, hot food, everything. It's only half a block. You don't need no more stores in that area. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Other individuals who wish to speak in opposition, please come to the podium, provide your name and address, and then share your comments.
My name is Abid Zahran, spelled Z-A-H-R-A-N. My home address 104 Lorien Drive, North Syracuse, New York 13212. In regarding to this new proposal, I think it's too many over there already. Down the street, Blue Star, up the street, the new Sunoco. That's 2 gas stations, like within 1 mile exactly. The Blue Star selling all what they need. The hot food, the beverages, the lotto, the beer, the snacks, and it's simple, it's clean, it's quiet after the incident happened a couple of years ago. That's number 1. If If you go down further on Oakwood Avenue, you got 3 stores, one Oakwood and Castle, one down the street from Oakwood, and one Oakwood and Burt. Down the street, down there further, is the gas station. Way down there, down on Salina Street, there's a gas station. And you got about 6, 7 stores down there. You're talking about within 2, 3 miles, be about 20 stores. For extra business down there, for this special business, I would recommend it. It's too many things. It doesn't fit for that area. In the meantime, a couple of churches there, and when you leave the parking lot there, it's too dangerous. If you buy beer and you leave the parking lot there, it's too dangerous. Now you're going to tell me down the street there's a gas station selling beer. But if you look at the gas station, the Blue Star, if you go buy a 6-pack of Budweiser and you leave, there's a lot of room to walk to your car, a lot of room. You get 2, 3 different directions to leave the parking lot. Personally, I won't recommend it because everything the customer needs there, and just like Mr. Murray said, nighttime, 5 a.m. to midnight, that's to create a lot of suspicious activities in this particular neighborhood. Me and a couple of friends of mine, and he owned that just like Mr. Murray said. It's down the street, less than half a block. My friend owned a convenience store he used to call Jimmy Super Saver, which is now Circle K. He sell the beer, he sell the snack, he sell the lotto, he sell the hot food, he sell the cold food, and it's a nice parking lot. It's convenience for everybody. To put another gas station or convenience store 18 hours a day, I would recommend it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there other individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the application?
Hi, my name is Qasim Razak. My address is 10 Anna Place, Phillipsburg, New Jersey, 08865. I recently bought a Blue Star, but in June. I spent a lot of money. I have 3 kids. I'm planning to, move to the area and have a family business. I don't recommend another store less than a half a block from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mansoor Abadi. I own the store down the block from them. They call it Circle A, 1300 State Street. What they call Mr. Amise. I have everything in place, and I don't think so he's going to have another place because I got a family to support, and we got enough place around me. Thank you.
Sir, could you provide your address for the record, please? Could you provide your address for the record, please?
What's he say? Oh, 113 Shaker High, Camillus, New York.
Okay, thank you. Other individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the application?
Hello, my name is Sharif Zaran. I live at 168 Iron Oak Circle. I grew up in Oakwood and Castle, the building my father owned for over 30 years. And long story short, potentially within the year, I'm purchasing the property for my father. There's a lot of businesses in this area, and emphasizing on their concern. There's only so much amount of business, and these local small businesses are already struggling from what they're doing right now. For adding another gas station close to these businesses in these areas is going to affect not only the store owners, the landlords, because the store owners are already struggling, trying to stay afloat in the times that as it is right now. So to add a gas station right down the street from Jimmy Super Saver and down the street from my property that's been in my family that I'm going to purchase for my father and my tenant, they're already struggling. And there's about, just out of that one store, they got 4 families, supporting 4 families. They got 3 partners. They got 4 families between just one store. And emphasizes on the gas station, which is Blue Star. They came from out of town and they made a large investment on this gas station, and for putting another gas station near it, if it was the same size and functional, same pumps is one thing, but adding and expanding it is definitely going to affect all these small local businesses, and is going to affect the landlords of the future of those businesses. Because it costs money to maintain certain property and to keep the tenants safe, and at the same time keep the clients of the tenants safe. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charles Garland. My address is 143 Martin Luther King West. I am a third-generation funeral director. I'm also the 16th District Onondaga County Legislature. In theory, I applaud it. I think it's a nice idea, expanding, but clarity is what I'm really looking for. In terms of the liquor license, how far away is the church supposed to be, if you can remind me about that? Because looking at this picture, that white wall is actually, right, and that's the church. If we all understand, I believe it's Greater New Testament, and you can reach out and you can touch that church. You also have New Jerusalem right in back of it, and right across the street, you have Abundant Life. Also, actually, they also have a large place. Now, they're actually nice about it. There's an area right there. I believe it's called The Hole. And what it is, it's a hangout spot. All of the transients, 7 o'clock, a lot of the homeless shelters, they have to empty out. So in that area, you have a lot of them hanging out. Right behind the car wash, you used to have a Tricolor. It was a printing place. It was there for a long time. They moved. The owner was mugged. Somebody climbed over the fence. They hit him in the head. They knocked him out and everything. So one of the well, yes. But one of the things that we're looking at, if you are making this expansion, will you have the cameras? Will you have things where, well, right, and also more.
Mr. Chairman, if anyone else is going to speak, they need to get up to the podium and introduce themselves, please.
Okay. But the other thing, as I said, it's a nice idea. My understanding is that most of the stores in that area, they close around 10 o'clock. They all started that after, unfortunately, there was a homicide right at the Blue Star. There was also a shooting, right, I believe maybe a stabbing right down the street also. So what they did was said, look, we need to look at this. We need to look at this area, how we have all of these, like, the transients, the homeless, the mental health, everybody's hanging out. So that would be the next question. How late will it actually stay open? 10 o'clock, or will it be 12, or will it be later? Oh.
But let's have the speaker at the podium.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Comment, and we can have additional feedback later.
Okay, then I guess mainly it's as far as the liquor license, because with that liquor license comes a lot of things. And because the church, it's right next door to it, you can reach out. And that is exactly where it's at. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there other individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the application? Please provide your name and your address and then your comments.
My name is Mahran Razaki. I live in 1425 Burnett Ave. I work in 500 Oakwood Ave, Smart City Market. I don't think so. We need more real estate store. We have enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the application? If so, please come forward. If not, then the applicant has an opportunity to return and address comments made in opposition. Just provide your name and address and your comments.
My name is Mark Mondo. I live on Onondaga Hill. We've owned that gas station since 1956. It's the only job I've ever had. My father started down there with Bobby Primo at Ed and Bob Shell. In 1980, we bought the place from Shell because we were going to board it up. I paid my father, and I'm 68, and it's the only job I've ever had. And I'm getting old, That's all I wanted to say. And the convenience store, I'm going to be around. It's not going to be no problems. I don't have no problems down there now. There's problems. I'm there. I chase them away. There's knuckleheads all over the neighborhood. Knuckleheads. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'll just eat myself to death. Okay? But I've been down there my whole life. And it's time for me to expand and get paid a little bit,
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
The gentleman, Mr. Garland, asked about cameras and so forth.
Yeah.
Do you have a response to that?
I got cameras all over the place. I got the police come down. They know I got all EDT cameras all over. I put them in just so when the police got to come, they can come in and look. I got more cameras than anybody on the south side. I'm down there 7 days a week. Every day. I mean, Jimmy sold his place. I don't even know why he's talking for the guy that bought it. You know, it's can an Italian American own a store? All Middle Easterners are beefing about a store? Italian buying, opening up a store? Thank you.
Question,
Yes.
I guess, given the expressions of concern by residents, it appears there's two issues.
Yeah.
One is the sale of beer. Two is the issue of competition with existing convenience stores in the area.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, I mean, you have a service station there
Right.
that has been a successful business.
Right.
To
My
what
My
extent
brother doesn't want it.
he doesn't want the
No,
business?
he doesn't want the business.
So, I mean, to the extent, I mean, how important is the beer sales to the proposed
Well,
expansion of the business?
church wall's next door, but the church entrance is a block away, okay? The whole building's a church. And to tell you the truth, the parishioners, they ain't got an eighth of the parishioners they used to have. They used to fill up a parking lot across the street in their parking lot. You go by there on Sunday, there's nobody there. I know, because I'm down there, you know? And this end of the building, they don't use it for hardly nothing. The church entrance is down on Tallman Street. There's where their parking lot is, and they're going that way.
Just for clarification, the
Yeah.
structure is a church. That's what it's registered as. So that's what it's going to be viewed and honored as. So I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
it's still a church at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
right. I understand that. I understand that.
Have you applied for your liquor license permit?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay. And I'm going to ask, if I may, everybody, is it okay? You guys, Barry, you done? Council or staff to comment on, it's my understanding that the applicant will need a variance to comply the parking requirements with the new rezone code, which I'm assuming that has not been addressed either. Okay.
When he.
That's my question.
When he, trolls the two of us over.
Okay, all right, then we'll hold.
Okay, thank you, sir. We will close public comment now, and I turn to our colleagues in law and the staff to ask if there is any additional relevant information that the commission should take into account.
I just want to clarify, I'm stealing Christian's thunder for part of this, but this gas station and convenience store, the gas station has been there for a long time and subject to special use permits. Although what they're proposing is to get rid of that gas station use and expand the convenience store. That's what requires the special use permit, is they're basically changing the use. The predominant use now is the gas station. The predominant use proposed, subject to special use permit, is the convenience store. The other piece is that rezone doesn't, so I'll get back to that, but I want to interject that. Rezone doesn't allow parking between a building, the front of the building, and the street. So they have to get a use variance. It's not an area variance, rather a use variance to ask to park in essentially what is the front setback or front of the building. That application has or has not been made?
The use variance application has been submitted. It has to be referred to the Onondaga County Planning Board because it's a new application.
So my suggestion is, and the other piece is, going back now to the special use permit, is when you are ready to deliberate, if that's tonight or at the next meeting, because you're going to have to hold this item over anyway to wait for the
For the county.
PZA and the county. I suggest that when you're ready, that you go through the requirements for special use permits on page 164 as part of your deliberation. So You are legally allowed to do that tonight if you wish, or you can deliberate when you're ready to vote at your next meeting if it's back by then.
Page 164 of the zoning ordinance, bringing
Yeah.
up the packet.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Rezoned, not our packet.
Because I was about to say, I don't see that.
So,
So I would, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would propose a motion to hold this for further deliberation and await the variance decision as well as the county's.
we're
if they
awaiting
have
two
any
bodies
additional-
to
right.
act upon this.
Are you making that as a formal motion?
I am.
Okay. A second.
And discussion on this motion now to hold our deliberations until we hear back from the BZA and the county planning board.
Just a point of order, with this motion to hold, we would have, council, we would have absolutely no say one way or the other on what the state liquor authority does if they grant a liquor license or not. That's not what
No,
our
and I
body
forgot
does.
to mention that. But there is, I didn't, Christian, can you address the, where's the legal measurement? You don't have any authority on the liquor license, so it doesn't matter if the
Out of our purview.
state deems that it's too close, but there is some sort of oddity about our rule of measurement pertaining to the location of the church. So while you don't have jurisdiction, just to advise, they may well get the liquor license from the state. I think Christian was saying that I have to look up the rule that it's 300 feet from the door of the facility. If the door is 300 feet away or 301 feet away, then the state can grant the license because it's consistent with the rule of measurement in the zoning code.
Which door? The door of the selling entity or the door of the church entity?
Or the church.
Church, okay.
But the other piece is that, you know, the whole point of a special use permit is to impose whatever conditions are, help protect the surrounding community and neighborhoods. So that's something, that's why I'm encouraging you literally to walk through the approval criteria and be able to make your specific findings when you are ready to deliberate, whether that be tonight, but I think the motion has been made not to.
Any further discussion on the motion concerning the timing of our deliberations on this? That would be for special use permit SP 2406.
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to add, I mean, given all of the questions about this particular property and application, and if we hold off, some of those questions will be resolved. And so I think there's value in taking some time to really look closer at the property and some of the questions. At least that's my view of the motion.
And to get the actions that we need to have in hand before this body deliberates.
Correct.
Okay, then if there's no further discussion on that motion, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? So that motion to postpone carries, and we will return to this item on our next, at our next meeting.
Can a procedural question for legal counsel? Was that vote okay, or do we have to do seeker in order to take that vote?
No, that
Okay.
wasn't a vote on the action, that's
Right.
a vote for your procedures.
Okay, thank you.
Thank everyone. We move to another public hearing.
Next agenda item is MASPR 24-26. It's a major site plan review at 500 to 50 South Salinas Street, otherwise known as the Chimes Building. The owner is Martin Jacobs, and the applicant is Anthony Rojas of In Architects and Christian Freeman. And this is in the Central Business District, MX5 Zone District.
Good evening.
Christian Freeman from Coupling and Freeman Associates, 121 Ruskin Ave, Syracuse, New York. So I'll just give a brief overview on the property. As you know, it's an MX5. It's 1.33 acres. It's at 500 South Salina Street. The site is predominantly, sorry, thank you.
Boys got
the site is predominantly sort of gesturing towards the architecture. So I'm actually going to hand it off to Anthony, and then I'll pick it up after he gives a rundown.
Hello, my name is Anthony Rojas, Principal of In Architects, 239 East Water Street here in Syracuse, New York. The building is an existing 12-story structure built in 1929. It's a steel frame structure with exterior cast stone masonry. The intent is to redevelop the building to remain as a mixed-use property. The ground floor will be either 3 or 4 different commercial tenant uses. And then on the second floor, there will be a couple of commercial users as well. But then the mixed income apartments begin between levels 2 through 12, resulting in about 152 units in total. There is a full basement, which will house some resident amenity space like the fitness room and the storage units. But there is some commercial users down there, commercial tenant down there as well. We have 2 telecommunication tenants within the building that will remain. From the exterior standpoint, we do intend to have masonry restoration on the existing cast stone that's up above. The datum that you see above the first floor, everything along that datum downwards will be new. Everything above that will be the existing cast stone masonry to remain. We are proposing to do a full window replacement. The project is currently under SHPO review. We're about to submit a Part 2 review. And we will be proposing the full window replacement, but until we get their response back on what they would approve, we have to wait and see, make sure that's all good with them as well. We will be also fixing the fluted metal panels along the exterior, making sure they don't leak and are refinished and repainted. On the ground floor will be new aluminum storefront, maximizing the amount of glazing and visibility into the ground floor, trying to activate the pedestrian circulation on the exterior. The aesthetic that you see here is very reflective of what it used to look like historically. It's much less ornate, so we really wanted to give a nod to history without replicating history. We're trying to bring the cast stone masonry at the corner element and then the end pier, metal panels above the storefront along the first floor with some new exterior wall sconces as well. I think we have a few more views. This is right at the corner. And then if we continue going around to the other end, we do intend to relocate the main building's entrance back to where it was historically along West Onondaga Street. So this will be the brand new entrance for the upstairs. All of the commercial tenants on the first floor will have direct access from the sidewalk, either on Onondaga Street or Salina Street, with direct exterior entryways. And I don't know if there's any other views. All right, we'll jump to the site.
I didn't know that the main entrance used to be on Onondaga.
So I guess we'll start kind of in the top right and work down. So you'll note we're at the corner of West Onondaga and Salina here. That sort of stippled hatch represents sidewalk replacements, which will be undergone on each side projected from the existing building out towards the street, curbs to remain. There's some existing vaults and grates in there. So we'd spoken about doing trees and things like that. That's not going to be possible. The orange hatch in the top right-hand corner represents the new building addition that is existing currently, these sort of crumbling planter areas. It's very shady. It's not, it's not upkept very well. So that will be replaced with building. And then if you pan down a little for me, Christian, that'd be great. All right, so now I'll get into kind of the rest of the site plan. So what currently exists behind the building, if you will, is there's an existing entrance off South Salina that gets you into the site that we're proposing closing off there. You'll see those 3 numbers right beneath your cursor. That's where it was. We're proposing closing that off and moving access on the opposite side, on the Clinton side. And what that's going to do for us is help with traffic in and out. Currently driving, there's maybe a little bit of anxiety on South Salina with just kind of how much hustle and bustle there is. Clinton's a little quieter, there's less going on. And so we thought that would be a better move. It also helps us as far as parking goes. So the current parking lot is 98 spaces. It's striped a little funky, and if you ran cars and truck turning radiuses through it, it doesn't really work to our standards at least. So we've reorganized and relaid it out in a way that makes sense. We have 95 spaces currently shown. 2 of them are a little stubby and short. They're on the right side there. Those are perfectly compliant by code for kind of your smaller compact car vehicles. All the other ones are full-size spaces, and we also show EV parking. We have adequate handicap spaces as well, and we're showing 2 overhead pole light fixtures to add some brightness and safety in the lot. Access into the site from Clinton, will be via slide gates with a fob, and the existing fence, which is currently in pretty good shape actually, is to remain along with the existing trees. So we're going to retain the quality of the site the most we can. I think we're showing a removal of a net like 1 or 2 trees total, and that's just to allow us to have a little bit more gesture towards the entrances. So that's that fob access in the lower left to get into the lot. Once you're into the lot, there's 2 ways of kind of accessing the building. The left orange area at the lower left-hand corner of the building, we're calling that our main entrance area. It also so happens that it's nearby to a lot of utilities. So we're looking to screen the utilities and provide a nice access entrance sort of aesthetic as you get in from the parking lot to the building there. So we'll be screening the utilities and providing, a planting area. I'm going to show you views in a second here. All good? You're fine. Yeah, here's our enlargement. Thank you, Anthony. So here's an enlargement just showing there's going to be a bench. We're going to have sort of an ornamental paneling going on with the concrete and some furniture. And those dots that sort of go around the periphery there, there's 6 of them shown there. Those are lit bollards. So we're going to have adequate lighting while also protecting people in that area. So we're going to encourage people to kind of sit there and enjoy the entrance area. If we pan to the other area, we're sort of calling that the parklet area. And that's so that users in the building have a space to, relieve their dog and also have a separate sitting space that's not in the main access area. And just like that entry area, we also have utilities here. This was a challenging site. We're looking to screen that as well. And those circles represent bollard lighting. So we're going to continue on the same sort of ornamental aesthetic on the concrete, some seating areas, a dog relief station, and then the bollard areas. So these will be quite nice. And then if you wouldn't mind going back to the other plan before we go into the enlargements, just want to make sure there's nothing that I'm missing. In the spirit of honesty, a question was raised about the existing condition of the sidewalk on Onondaga, which was very fair. There are some panels there that we do not show as being replaced. And it was a comment, and we're currently looking at it as a team to determine how we would move forward. We'd like to do what's best for the city and the project. So we're reviewing that currently. We understand that's an outstanding comment. I'm not going to call it major, but it's worth knowing that we're reviewing it.
And the owner is willing to take 1 or 2 approaches, and it's really based on the city's response to which they prefer. One is either sidewalk replacement, preferred, and the owner's preferred option to replace with landscape area, and reduce the amount of concrete, because that is quite required. So we could have the possibility right along the curb edge.
In particular, just to highlight where we're talking about, you'll see that row of trees in the site. If you go outboard from that towards the street, you'll see that between that X dash line, which represents the fence and the curb, that's all concrete, which is almost the length of a parking stall. So it's larger than normal. So that's where we'd be proposing potentially doing a planting strip or something, just to alleviate the amount of concrete. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, which was an outstanding comment, and we sort of touched on it in our plan, we have shown on Salina Street bike racks, but a comment came back from the city about bike parking as it relates directly to users of the building, not public bike parking. And Anthony said that. Do you want to speak to that?
we'll have bike racks in our storage space within the building, so we'll have it sufficient.
Other than that, I say let's go to the renderings. So these are just an example of kind of the quality we're going for. It's an existing lot that's directly abuts utilities and some old concrete. So we're trying to refresh it, add some green, liven up the space. So that's the main entry.
So that green space that's behind that screen wall really won't be green space. That's what it's on. So what we did was we integrated the dumpster enclosures, which is to the left, with the screen wall of all of that mechanical equipment, and made it much larger to kind of door entrance. It's a very simple canopy at the top of the floor. I think there's a couple of other vehicles there. Kind of gives you the new entry for all of the tenants from the private sector.
That's all I got.
Happy to answer any
Yeah,
questions.
Questions?
So you're planning on 40 affordable units, and you're also hoping to do 19 units at 80% AMI? Is that correct? And what's the issue that needs to be resolved on the 19 AMI units?
We will provide the 12% that's required per zoning. We will require those. The client is now 10 more. They would like to provide 5 more, but they're fully committed to hitting.
Okay. They haven't done the math yet on the 19 units.
They got to finish, finalizing their numbers to really understand what they can.
They're committing to the minimum and shooting for much more potentially.
Thank you.
Can you reiterate any new or enhanced screening that would help screen the parking from the street?
Sure. So it currently has it's sort of a transparent, it's not transparent. It's in the middle. It's an ornamental, it's a triple horizontal rail with a black picket fence. So it's an ornamental fence, but it's on a very thin strip, and our parking extends nearly to the boundary. So our intent was to screen at the entrance areas and plant where we can, but not plant in an area we can't maintain. And because of the skinniness of that area on both sides of the fence, we haven't proposed planting the whole thing. And there is a fence there, which is actually in good shape, and we would continue that fence, replace on Salina where we're removing that access and replace the fence in kind. And then the slide gates on Clinton would also match. They wouldn't be chain link, they'd be the nice fence. So as far as screening goes, we're doing the best we believe we can.
And for the mechanical equipment, the new mechanical equipment on grade, like the screening that's on this side is also on the back side.
Correct.
The equipment, so you won't see any new equipment that's
Regarding the commercial spaces, you said 3 commercial? 3 or 4. Do you guys have,
depends on size.
right, do you guys have an idea of what those might be
Right,
at this
there's
point?
There's no committed tenants at this point, so they're
I didn't realize so much of the building was vacant, so you're introducing a lot of capacity, residential capacity. At the same time, you've managed to trim a few parking spaces from the existing amount that you have. Obviously, that says something about the kind of resident that you're looking to attract, someone maybe using public transit, someone working downtown, retired people, who knows. Could you just comment on that dynamic a little bit? Because you're adding, as I say, more capacity to the building, but you've been able to contain or even reduce the parking on site.
Yes, I believe the owners are proposing mixed income units that range all the way from studios up to 3-bedroom units. So there is a good variety of size and the type of tenant that they're trying to attract. We do want to take full advantage of being right across the street from the central station and have the walkability and the bikeability and everything to create a more active environment within this corridor that brings more life to build upon the momentum that Salt City Market has made and the new Symphony Tower that's been, opened up just across the street and really enliven this intersection and bring new life to it. So we think cars can take a back seat and, and really, focus on the pedestrian activity.
We also decided early on in the project that showing parking that didn't function wasn't something we were interested in trying to push through. We're only going to show something that works and that we're happy to have someone use.
Thank you. Further questions?
I have two quick questions, Anthony, or Christopher, whomever. You mentioned SHPO. I assume that historic tax credits are going to be used to finance for the whole project.
Part 1 has been approved, and
Okay.
we're about to submit Part 2.
Great. And is there a plan to address the connecting breezeway from the now difficult garage to your building?
So in the current plans, we are allowing that connection to remain. So there
Okay.
is going to be allowed access if somebody were to lease a space there. We do not own that bridge, so we can't, make any modifications or address it in any way. But we are maintaining access until we can't. And then we'll, bring the window back into place if for some reason the bridge disappears one day. We'll then update the facade to reflect the removal of that door.
Okay, but you are going to keep it for now?
Yes, it's
should
in our
the
plans to
garage-
stay.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks.
Further questions?
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you both very much. Are there individuals who would like to speak in favor of this application? If so, please come forward, provide your name, address, and comments. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Please come to the podium, provide your name, address, and comments. I don't see anyone rising to speak. I think we can close public comment. I turn to my colleagues to ask if there are any additional information, pertinent information that the commission should be aware of as it proceeds with this application.
One thing would be to add a condition to your site plan approval, should the board approve it, that memorializes their commitment to the 12% affordable units. I know they're trying to exceed that, but right now, we don't have another mechanism to memorialize affordable units. We will have after we do some amendments to rezone. So I would just make that suggestion.
Sounds like a good one. Anything additional?
No.
Okay.
It's a question, this property requires a full seeker review, is that
It
correct?
does,
Yes.
it's a type 1. Full as in it's a type 1.
Type 1, right.
So we are at a place now where we may act upon that.
Okay, so it's a part 1, so it's a type 1, so we have to go through the entire EAF part 2. I suggest that you turn to page 159 of your packets, your planning commission packet. That shows you the part 2 EAF that's been filled out by staff with their suggested answers for each question. The commission may, of course, respond differently to any of the 18 questions on the part 2. And we also have attached a proposed part 3, but I'll direct you to that when we get to that point. As you know, the part 2 of the EAF the part 2 EAF is an issue spotting exercise where the board will discuss whether there are any potential impacts that need further analysis in part 3. The project meets the threshold for a type 1 action because it is a project that exceeds 25% of certain thresholds in an historic building. Otherwise, it wouldn't rise up to a type 1. And we're going to go through each of the 18 questions. Question 1, assesses impact on land. Due to the nature of the project, a renovation and exterior restoration of an existing building, there will be no new construction on or physical alteration of the proposed site. There will be no excavation or exposure of bedrock or other impact on matters addressed in the sub-questions to question 1 of the EAF. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Question 2 assesses impact on geological features. There are no unique or unusual geological features in proximity to the project. Therefore, staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Question 3 of the EAF assesses impacts on surface water. Note that the existing building includes a lot of impervious surface material with potential for runoff, but there is no wetlands in proximity to the project. However, Onondaga Creek is only a few hundred feet away. Onondaga Creek is separated from the project by a raised railway line. Staff recommends that the commission answer yes, there will be a moderate impact to this question, allowing for further analysis under Part 3. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
And again, I'll reiterate, the commission may, of course, respond differently to any of the questions. Question 4 assesses impacts on groundwater. The project will be connected to public water and sewers, and it does not sit above a known aquifer. Due to the nature of the project, it appears there will be no impact for all of the sub-questions. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree with that?
Yes.
Impact on flooding, question 5. Due to the nature of the project, the fact that it is not located in a 100-year floodplain and there are none in the area, staff recommends that the board answer no to this question. Is the commission in accord with a no to this question?
Yes.
Question 6 assesses impacts on air. This question asks whether the action includes a state-regulated emission source. It does not. It is a residential project that would not require a state DEC air permit. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Already on question 7. Question 7 assesses impacts on plants and animals. The question asks whether the proposed action will result in the loss of flora or fauna. The project involves renovation of an existing building located in an urban area that was previously developed a long time ago. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Question 8 assesses impacts on agricultural resources. There are no agricultural resources in the vicinity of the proposed action. Staff recommends the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree with this question being
Yes.
answered no?
Yes.
Okay. Question 9 assesses impacts on aesthetic resources. This project is not different from or in sharp contrast to the current land use patterns and any scenic or aesthetic resource in the vicinity. There's no scenic view shed proximate that would be impacted by the proposed action since this is an existing building in an existing urban area. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 10 assesses impacts on historic and archaeological resources. This is an historic building that is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Looking at the sub-questions, the concern is with the impact on the historic or archaeological resource itself or on nearby resources. The proposed action will renovate the interior of the historic resource and will restore the exterior of the building to the extent possible to its original condition. The addition of additional residential units will not involve other historic resources in the downtown. The Landmark Preservation Board has reviewed the proposal and had no comments. In the context of the sub-questions of question 10, A through E, staff recommends that the commission answer yes to this question, noting a moderate impact allowing for further analysis under Part 3. And the reason for that is even though this project does not impact this resources or others, we want you to analyze it further. Does the commission agree with that the proposed action will include a no, does the commission agree to a yes?
Yes for yes.
Yes for yes.
I apologize. Even with my script, I can't do it, right? And I wrote it. Question 11 assesses impacts on open space and recreation. There are no open space or recreation areas impacted by the project site. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree with this question being answered no?
Yes.
Question 12 assesses impacts on critical environmental areas. There are no areas within or near the project site that have been designated as critical environmental areas. Staff therefore recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 13 assesses impacts on transportation. This question involves changes to existing transportation systems. The proposed action will not involve additional parking areas or degrade transit or change the pattern of movement for people and goods in the area. In fact, it may enhance the pedestrian experience and bicycle accommodation in the vicinity. Staff recommends the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 14 assesses impacts on energy. The proposed action is a renovation of an existing building in an urban area. There are no proposed upgrades or changes to an existing substation or impacts to utility local infrastructure as detailed in the sub-questions. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 15 assesses impacts on noise, odor, and light. This project will not increase the ambient noise, odor, or light in the vicinity. The exterior refurbishment will be completed during regular working hours and will not involve blasting. The interior renovation will cause no noise, odor, or light change to current ambient conditions. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 16 assesses impacts on human health. This concerns whether the project will cause an impact on human health due to exposure to contaminants that might be uncovered or that they're working with or existing contamination. The interior renovation and exterior restoration will not create new sources of contamination. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree that this question should be answered no?
Yes.
Question 17 assesses consistency with community plans. The proposed action is a renovation of an existing building in an urban area. The structure is compliant with zoning and proposed use and intensity of land is consistent with community plans. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Question 18, last one for part 2, assesses consistency with community character. The proposed action is renovation of an existing building in an urban area, increasing the number of units and adding an affordable housing component where none currently exists. No facilities of importance to the community will be replaced or eliminated, nor will the project increase the need for services since it's located in an intense urban area of the city. Staff recommends that the commission answer no to this question. Does the commission agree?
Yes.
Okay, now turn to page, well, you're probably already there, to page 169 of your packet for us to discuss the part 3, which we will go ahead and do right now. So the part 3 is where you'll determine whether to issue a positive declaration or a negative declaration for this project. And for every question in part 2 where we answered yes, there's further analysis. And those included 2 questions, question 3 and question 10. So the commission's not obligated to adopt these findings, but staff has offered some reasons to support a determination, a negative declaration as to both of these. And in particular, I don't think I'll read the entire thing into the record, but I'd like you to take a moment to refresh your familiarity with the reason supporting a neg deck for question 3, and it appears on page 169 of your packet. So the impact of the impervious surface coverage for this building is unlikely to impact Onondaga Creek, which is several hundred feet away. It's not severe because the project actually is reducing some of the impervious surfaces using trees and parklets and some lawn area. And storm water runoff will be directed to a subsurface storm chamber. So the staff recommends that you make a negative declaration as to this, which means that no EIS will be required. As to question 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources, again, the seeker determination recommended by staff is a negative declaration, and that is because there is no severe environmental impact in as much as they're restoring, as to the extent possible, the building to resemble the original condition, and it's been approved by our local board, and they're working with the state on funding and approval. And therefore, there would be no EIS required based on question 10. So do you agree with the analysis of impacts for question 3, impacts on surface water?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and do you agree with the reason supporting a negative deck for the impact on historic and archaeological resources? Question 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. On the next page of the part 3, there's a couple boxes to check, so I'm just going to draw, well, on the first page, we have the determination of significance at the bottom. It's a type 1, and we've completed parts 1, 2, and 3 of the EAF. At the top of the second page, which is page 170 in your packet, there is a box checked, recommended by staff, that this project will result in no significant adverse impacts on the environment, and therefore an environmental impact statement is not needed. Accordingly, this negative declaration is issued. Does the commission agree with that conclusion?
Yes.
Okay, so you have now completed your obligations under seeker, and you can move to, well, there's one more thing. We have also included in your packet a proposed resolution that basically, oh.
No.
Okay. We did not put it in the packet, but we do have a proposed resolution that details what we just went through, and you're meeting your obligations to review and analyze the seeker impacts. So you will see that later, and you're free to move on to your votes on the substantive application.
Okay. Any questions at this stage?
I move to establish the Planning Commission as the lead agency and make a negative declaration for purposes of seeker.
Second.
Discussion on the seeker motion? If not, if there is none, then all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Seeker motion is approved, and we may proceed to the action on the major site plan review.
Move to approve with the condition that the project meets the affordable housing requirements of 12%.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The major site plan review for MASPR 2406 is approved. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a bunch of concurrent applications for the Bishop Jones Community Residence Project, including R-24-18, a re-subdivision of 102, 106, 108 Alexander Ave, and also 301-05, 309 Cortlandt Ave. The owner and applicant for all the projects I'm going to introduce is Robert and Marjorie Jones Community Development Incorporated, and Brian Bouchard is the design professional with CHA Consulting. The other applications are MASPR-24-10, a major site plan review for the same addresses I just mentioned, a zone change, Z-2865, a zoning map amendment at 321 to 23 Cortlandt Ave and 323 Cortlandt Ave rear. That is in the MX1 zone district, and then a re-subdivision R-24-17 for addresses at 323, 321 to 23, 327, 329 to 31, 335, and 343 Cortland Ave. This is companion to the zoning map amendment, and the other companion application to this is MASPR 2409. It's a major site plan review. And I think that kind of covers it all. It's the same address as I mentioned with the companion. Oh, yeah. I would direct you to page 214 in your agenda packets. It's the roadmap that I created for you, which kind of explains the interconnections of all the projects.
Okay, you have a few things going on here.
Yes, so I'll start. My name's Brian Bouchard with CHA Consulting. Also with me from the applicant's side is Whitney McClary, who's with us here, McClary. I'm going to just give a very basic overview of this project that's not nearly as complicated as the zoning applications that we submitted. So the proposed project... What's that?
Without leaving anything out.
Yeah, no, I won't. The proposed project at large generally consists of 11 existing parcels on Cortland Ave at the intersection of Alexander, which you see on the screen here, which is our subdivision map. What is complicated is that these existing 11 parcels are not all immediately adjacent to each other. So essentially, we've applied for this project in a way that conforms with the zoning because they are separate and distinct new parcels. But the project as a whole is intended to be constructed, owned, and operated as a single project known as the Bishop Jones Community Residence. I said this is on Cortland Ave. You'll know perhaps that Bishop Robert Jones Way is the memorialized street name for this section of street, which is just north of MLK West. You'll also maybe recall that on the hard corner of Cortland and MLK West is the Apostolic Church of Jesus Christ, for which the late Bishop Robert Jones was a pastor up until 2008. So that's why we've named this the Bishop Jones Community Residence, and you can notice by way of the existing owner that it's his ownership entity that currently owns the parcels, and the existing pastor is conveying that land to the applicant for the purposes of developing this project. So at whole, over the course of these 11 parcels that will combine into 2 new parcels, we have 67 new affordable housing units, so it'll be 100% affordable housing for this project. And to take you through the situation that we have with multiple zoning districts. To the top of the page, at the hard corner of Cortland and Alexander, we're considering Lot B, and that matches Building B. Just to the bottom side of the page is Lot A, and that matches the site plan as Lot A. So the first application that we're proposing to you is to combine the 5 existing lots and form a new lot called Lot B in order to facilitate the redevelopment of that parcel for a portion of these multifamily housing units that we're considering Building B. On that parcel that we're requesting to re-subdivide 5 lots into 1 new parcel is a major site plan review that is proposed to construct a portion of the project that would be 37 units. Along with those 37 units, we'd be constructing a parking area under the building. There's a floodplain in this area, so you'll notice that there's a very purposeful elevation of that first floor living level so that we can stay out of the floodplain, and an opportunity to park our required parking below the building. So with the parking, site utilities, and the building construction is a site plan application that we've put forward to you. We are asking to implement the allowable parking reductions that are allowed under rezone now, and I can describe those to you. One parking reduction is to provide a mixed income development. Again, we're a 100% affordable project, so we are requesting the reduction in parking that's allowed for the mixed income project. And then we are also proximate to transit, which allows a reduction from the required parking as well. So what is required for parking is 4 spaces, and on this parcel, we're able to provide 8, inclusive of the necessary ADA accessible parking space. So we'd ask for those reductions. The next application is for Lot A. Lot A is currently split zone. Thank you. You're already ahead of me here. So you could see there's parcels right in the center of this block that remain as MX1. We're asking zoning staff in this zoning amendment that'll be presented to Common Council to transition 2 of those MX1 parcels to the R5 district. That's kind of the rest of the block there, so that we do not have a split zone parcel when we redevelop the project. So those 2 pieces will be requested from Common Council to be converted to the R5, which matches the zoning intent for our project on Lot 5, or on R5 on Lot A. So this Lot A and Building A is, again, part of the holistic project. This particular zoning amendment is inclusive of the re-subdivision to combine those 6 existing parcels into 1 new lot. So we'd have 6 existing parcels into 1 new lot as part of that re-subdivision application for Lot A that Christian mentioned. And then the last but not least is the major site plan review for this specific lot, which is Lot A. This portion of the project would construct, as you can see on the site plan, Lot A is to the left-hand side here, would be to construct a similar multifamily building. We'd also have 30 affordable units out of the 67 in this structure, and we're able to park 14 parking spaces. Again, we'd be asking for the implementation of the allowable reductions for Lot A. Again, because we are a mixed income project, implementing that reduction along with being proximate to the bus stop and the transit system, I believe we're requiring the same 4 spaces for this, to which we provide 14. Essentially trying to provide as much parking as we need, but not too much, because the dwelling units themselves are obviously the intent here to maximize the affordable units we can provide on the parcel. With that understanding through conversation with staff that we will be awaiting the zone change for those 2 lots by Common Council, and we also have applied for variances related to the structural coverage of one of the lots, and then also the density for one of the lots that we have applied for the ZBA that hasn't been heard yet, but will be heard at their next meeting. So understandably, this board can't take action tonight, but we wanted to present the project to you, start the dialogue, and any questions or feedback that we can answer either now or bring back to us at the next meeting.
Thank you.
If we could just clarify procedurally, for staff, I presume, but as far as tonight goes, we have multiple hearings, but the only voting action that we'll be taking is on the R2418 re-subdivision and the full seeker review for type 1 action associated with MASP R2409. All the other hearings will be held over for future action pending BZA approval and board approval of the items that they need to consider. Is that correct?
Yes, that's mostly correct, except for it's an unlisted action, not a type 1.
I'm sorry.
So you'll be doing seeker for all of the items, all of them, but
Separate
you're only
seekers?
actually voting on one of them tonight.
I see.
Because the other boards can't move forward without seeker having been accomplished
Correct.
first.
I have a question. Of
Sure.
the, I think it comes out to 60 units separately.
67.
Yeah, 67. Of those, can you just tell me the characteristics as far as like number of bedrooms, square footage?
So they're all 1 bedrooms or studios. Square footage, I know that we submit. There's 2 bedrooms as well. Okay. Square footage, I would have to look at the architectural. We did submit
Oh, it's
the.
right there.
Yep, there you go. The floor plans and the unit mix is on the architectural drawings there. Yep.
I missed that, sorry.
Again, this is a graphic that's describing to you the whole project, so both building A and B totaling the 67, and that gives you the distribution of the Studio 1 and 2 there. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Next, am I next?
Sure,
Yeah.
you're next.
I have a question, Brian, which I might have missed in reading all of this.
Mhm.
Between A and B are 2 or 3 lots,
Correct.
and you're not touching those lots,
Correct. Those are privately owned parcels that we don't control. Yep.
and you chose not to control those?
We tried.
Pardon?
We tried.
Tried.
My understanding is that
Okay.
the existing owner has tried in the past, but that is not property that we control. So otherwise it, would have looked a little bit differently here, so.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, thanks.
Further questions? Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Are there individuals who would like to speak in favor of any one of these 5 items just covered? If so, please come forward, provide your name, address, and comments. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to any of the 5 items outlined moments ago by the applicant, please come forward, provide your name, address, and comments. So, no additional speakers, it appears. We will hold on the last 4 in the order presented here. But first we will return to our 2718 for possible action this evening. And prior to that, we will undertake our seeker work.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, this is for all the projects. Just for clarity, I'm going to identify all of the project numbers that we're doing seeker on right now. This is an unlisted action, and it does not meet any of the thresholds for a type 1, so we're doing the short form. But this seeker review pertains to R-24-18, MASPR 24-10, Z-2865, R-24-17, and MASPR 24-09. Has everybody had a chance to review the short EAF Part 1 that's included in your packet for each of the named projects?
Yes.
And is everyone familiar with the questions of the short form EAF Part 2, also included in your packet for each of the projects?
Yes.
Does anyone believe that this project will have any moderate to large impacts?
No.
Because you do not believe there will be any moderate to large impacts, I recommend you vote to issue a negative declaration under seeker and complete the EAF Part 3 accordingly.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for that seeker action for the 5 projects enumerated earlier?
I move establishing a negative seeker declaration for the 5 applicants mentioned.
Thank you both.
Wait,
And act as lead agent.
And declare Planning Commission as lead agency. Thank you.
Second. Okay, discussion on our seeker motion before us. If there's no discussion, then all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Seeker motion carries. And as indicated earlier, the final 4 of these are being held over for the reasons stated. However, we may entertain action on R-2418, which was the first re-subdivision application cited this evening. Is there a motion for action on that re-subdivision?
Mr. Chairman, I did want to point out that what we've suggested is that you open the public hearing on each item. You can invite comment, and then you will close your public comment. And then, following your roadmap, treat the matter accordingly. So you might want to have your roadmap out, but you don't have to, well, you do need to commence a public hearing on each item.
In opening the public hearings on the items that we will not be taking action on tonight, should we close the public hearing or keep the public hearing open so that if people want to comment next month, they can?
This was advertised, so anybody who would have wanted to comment presumably would be here tonight. It's up to you whether you want to close the public comment. I think that since it's been advertised, you're certainly free to do that, but you're going to hold the public hearing open because the public hearing has components. There's a applicant presentation, there's a public comment, there's your deliberations and votes. So you're going to close public comment if you as a board choose to do that, or if the chair chooses, and then you're going to hold open the public hearing for deliberation and vote on those items that you can't complete tonight. So you'll go through each item, you'll open the public hearing, you'll ask for comment, you can close public comment if you wish, and then you'll hold over the public hearing.
Okay, so for R-2418, the re-subdivision for the addresses listed on Alexander Ave and Cortlandt Avenue, we open that public hearing to entertain public comment for the project outlined a short while ago. Are there comments in favor of this application? Are there comments to be made in opposition to this application? Does the commission wish to close this public hearing, R-24-18? Okay, then we will close this public hearing.
This is the one you can vote on.
This
So,
is the,
yeah,
right.
I'll do seeker and you can vote.
So we've completed seeker for the
Apologize.
entirety for all five.
Yeah.
And we are able, given the nature of this project, to act on the re-subdivision for R-24-18. Is there a motion on that re-subdivision alone?
Move to approve the re-subdivision.
Second?
Discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? That re-subdivision is approved for R-24-18. We move to the major site plan review associated with R-24-18. In this case, MASPR 24-10. We open this public hearing for public comment on the content of the site plan that was outlined for the commission a short while ago. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to this application? No speakers this evening, and as indicated earlier, we will hold this application over until our next meeting in May, at which time it's likely we will be in a position to take action on this.
Mr. Chairman, do you wish to close the public comment for this?
Yes.
We need a formal motion for that?
Right.
No, he
No.
can just.
So we close the public comment on SPR 24-10. We now move to Z2865, the zoning map amendment. We open that public hearing. We had a project description outlined for us a few moments ago. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this zoning map amendment? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed zoning map amendment? No speakers on this one either. We will close the public comment, continue the application until our next meeting, and consider action at that time. We move now to R24-17, the second re-subdivision application in this related series of applications, the details of which were outlined a short while ago. We open this public hearing. Are there individuals who wish to speak in favor of R24-17, the second re-subdivision for this site? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the re-subdivision application? We have no speakers apparently. We will close the public comment for this application. We will carry the application over to our next meeting. And we move to major site plan review, MASPR 24-09, the second site plan review for this series of interrelated actions. We open the public hearing for this review and invite anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the site plan review to come forward to do so. And see no speakers in that category. We also invite those who wish to speak in opposition to the site review to come forward to do that. We have no speakers on that either. We will close the public comment on this application, and we will hold the application over until our next meeting in May.
Yes, right here. Oh, the actual. This thing was really long.
Okay, we have completed our public hearings for the evening, but not our business. We have several more items to
Yes, so the other,
cover.
for other business, we have Z-2861. It's a discussion on having a public hearing for the Syracuse University Catholic Center. And I guess you will deliberate on whether or not we update the PID for that. So we have Jennifer Bybee from Syracuse University, the applicant. The owner is St. Thomas More Foundation. Yeah, for the record, what I mean is you're going to determine if you want to have a public hearing.
Which is otherwise.
Right,
Because it's in a PID.
right.
Okay, so Jennifer, is there a major change into the proposed by the university for the center?
Should I run through my spiel quickly?
Yes.
So Jennifer Bybee, Assistant Director for Campus Planning for Syracuse University. The office address is 1320 Jamesville Avenue in Syracuse. Here tonight as the authorized agent for the St. Thomas More Foundation, which is the applicant for the project plan review modification, which is required for the proposed renovation work. The use of the Catholic Center will continue. And the proposed work is various renovation work, including, as that one image that we have up illustrates, some demolition on the southern portion of the site and reconstruction in the same location, approximately, of a new chapel The net new square footage is only 850 square feet.
850?
850. And if you look at that drawing that's up, the area that's black and with a crossed pattern, that's everything that's being demolished. And the sort of magenta color is where it's being new construction in the same exact location. Then there's some new construction, that color exactly, that sort of lighter magenta, which is not exactly overlaying where the existing building is. So with all that demolition and then new, actually it's only 850 net square feet new. And it's a donor project, and the new chapel, as designed, is completely stunning. I didn't want to go into a lot of design discussion tonight, just to give an overview in terms of the zoning issues. The project does comply with all of the relevant zoning regulations. The Catholic Center is also interestingly located within, but importantly not contributing to the Walnut Park National Register District. And it was cited in the National Register nomination in 1983 because it does sort of line up with the other structures on the street. And with the renovation and some of the new construction, we will absolutely be maintaining that same character, where it fits I believe the word used in the National Register nomination was the rhythm of the street. And so because it is within the National Register District, although not contributing, we are going to the Landmark Preservation Board this Thursday, the 18th, for their advisory review and recommendation to your board. So tonight, I came basically just to give a quick overview of the project, and we will be requesting that the item be on the May 6th, your May 6th agenda, and we would be hoping for a decision that evening for the project plan review modification.
Thank you for the overview. Some discussion from the commission members concerning need for a public hearing?
I think the only issue would be, and it's being considered by the Preservation Board, is I believe there's a 40-foot tower being proposed, and as much as this is a historic district, that's supposed to be, let me know if I have it right, illuminated in blue lighting 24/7. So that's a kind of significant change to the tenor of the complex there.
It will be illuminated, and critically, we are making sure that there's no light spillage over the parcel line. And as far as the height of the tower, it's actually a little bit lower than the existing complex right now, which the top portion of it's 49 feet. And this one drawing doesn't illustrate it when we go to Landmark Preservation Board, and as you probably saw in the elevations in the application, it's in a very institutional setting. And so, for instance, the School of Management, which is adjacent, is quite a bit taller, at least, I'd say 3 times taller.
She mentioned the illumination 24 hours. Is that happening as well or no?
I am not positive about the 24-hour feature, to be quite honest, and I will check with that. We didn't include that detail in our application. My understanding is will be illuminated, but I was actually, to tell you the truth, not aware about 24 hours. So I will check with my design team and appreciate that you raised that, because we will be at Landmark Preservation Board on Thursday.
Thursday this week?
Yes,
Okay.
on the 18th.
And can you refresh my memory who your neighbors are on both sides?
The university, other university uses, fraternities, sororities. There's a counseling center along the block on the same side of the street. A little bit further north is also the Hillel Center. So it's all other institutional neighbors.
Hillel is in the same block?
Excuse me?
Hillel is in the same block?
It's actually, I think, on the next block north.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Other questions for Jennifer? Okay. We need to make a determination in terms of a public hearing.
Yeah, and that doesn't require a secret. That's a procedural item that you, as a board, will determine whether you, by vote though, whether you wish to hold a public hearing on this item after it goes to the This is
Okay.
a discussion item tonight.
Okay.
Once it passes the LPB, then it would come back on the agenda as an
Okay.
item for you if you choose to hold a public hearing on it.
So we await action from the Preservation Board.
And so, based on the description, it's a modification to the planned institutional district. So if you feel that the modifications being proposed warrant another public hearing to modify the PID, then basically that's what the discussion is about.
We're using the right semantics. Our understanding is not that we're modifying the district, the PID, we're merely modifying the project plan approval, which exists right now for the building. Right, and I just want to make sure it's, okay.
Right.
You don't want to modify your PID.
No.
We don't want to either.
Right.
So assuming the Preservation Board takes action on Thursday, this will come back to us for our May meeting. We'll make that determination. Okay.
If we don't require a public hearing, we still have project plan review, or does it stay with just staff?
Staff, is that right, Chief Tom?
For us. Right, we just wouldn't have a public hearing. But the board itself, I believe, still reviews project plan review.
But you won't vote. If there's no public hearing, you won't impose
I think,
If we don't take any action, what's the purpose of having?
no, I think we will. I think
I'm
we,
wrong.
well, I don't know if you're wrong, but, because I haven't done this in a long time. But I think we will approve the project plan review as modified. Is my,
It's really
remembrance.
informational because we don't have project plan review and rezone. That's why I said you wouldn't be taking action. When we have information items, they're just there for discussion, for you to look at. The whole significance of what we present to you tonight is, do you want to have an opportunity to vote on this? And have a public hearing, invite the public to comment. So you wouldn't be taking a particular action. This is just the way the old code was set up. So this PID falls under the old code and the new code, but in this case, it's a modification to a project plan review, which is a unicorn that kind of exists in a different form now. So that's why we're bringing it to you. Do you want to take action and talk about it, or do you want to just talk about it next time? Right. They've become experts, so they are really amazing.
so it comes back to us anyway
Right.
for discussion,
Discussion, but not action necessarily.
unless the preservation board, I mean, we could always take action if you want to. And if the preservation board says this thing is a complete disaster, we could
Well-
schedule a public hearing.
Well, this is your opportunity to do that.
But I don't have that information.
Right, so given that that might be a
Right.
possibility,
I would say
small
we
as it
have
may
the
be,
question.
though, it does seem that we should have a hearing in the event that the Preservation Board does find an issue. Is that correct? Logically?
Yeah,
That's you.
yeah, yeah.
And do we need a formal vote on that? Okay. Would you put that in the form of a motion, please?
Sure, I'll give it a shot at least. So I make a motion that we hold a public hearing on this application pending a presentation of the application to the Landmark Preservation Board.
And you need to have pending.
Okay.
Because it's going to the board.
If
and
there's some
you're
reason, though, that they
voting
don't
strictly
meet,
on, is your
doesn't
board
matter.
having a public hearing?
Okay,
Yes or no?
okay.
Second.
Discussion on this motion concerning the public hearing. If there's no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. We'll see you soon. Good luck on Thursday.
May 6th. That's pretty.
A couple of additional items for this evening.
This
A
morning,
couple of 3 mile
really
limit
light.
cases.
The next item on the agenda for other business is 3 mile limit case 3S-24-06 in the town of DeWitt. It is in the Woodchuck Estates Circle. Owner is Dan King, applicant Nathan LaPierre. And that's on 386 of your agenda packet.
And the city engineer has reviewed this.
Yes.
Are there any questions on the 3 mile limit case? Okay. Is there a motion then?
I move approval of the 3 mile review application 3S-2406.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? We have an additional 3 mile limit case. I don't think I've ever seen one before from the village, from a village. It's always been from a town. So this is new.
Yes, the next agenda item is another 3 mile limit in the village of Solvay, 3S-24-07 on Hazard Street.
And this too has been reviewed by the city engineer's office.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on the Solvay 3 mile limit case?
Move approval of the 3 mile review, 3S-2407.
Second?
Discussion on this motion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? The Village of Solvay 3 mile limit case is also approved. Is there anything else that we need to
That's it for
deal with tonight? How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? We are adjourned back on the 6th of May.
So I won't be here.
Will not be here.
Unfortunately.